Welcome everyone to this Joe Walsh classic. It came out on the Warriors movie soundtrack, and then the Eagles put it out, and they play it live. It's a great song. I had done a lesson for this, which I've taken down and deleted because my guitar was out of tune and I got so much shit for it. And I get that. I think that was in the days before I had my hearing aids. Poor excuse, but you know, it is what it is. So anyhow, we're here revisiting it, and it's a good thing because I've noticed some little nuances I wanna let you know that even live Joe does, that I think make the song, you know, interesting. It's basically 3 chords. So how do you make 3 chords interesting? You know, he uses inversions, and we'll talk about that. We'll go over the slide lesson, and you'll have the whole thing. Okay, this song is in normal tuning, and my notes will be below. I wrote this song out. There really wasn't a good tab for it. So, including the slide solo. So we'll go over that and what Joe does. So for the intro, it's a little tricky because it's on the back beat the first time you hit a chuck. All right, so you'll hear the drum come in, and on the back beat, you're going to just hit a chuck, if you will, just deaden strings, preferably 5th through the 2nd, and then hit it again to an A chord. Now, what you do, again, is key to that. As you strike it down silent, when you come back up, you hit the A chord. It really makes a difference. Your timing's off otherwise, so the second chuck, if you will, in the intro is down, and then the chord is upstroked. And then we hit a D chord. So that's an A, we're going to a D chord. Alright, it's pretty much D, the D string down. He doesn't let the A string ring in this, at least the D chord. All right, then we're going to hit a chuck again, an A chord to an E. All right, a chuck again with the A chord to the D. And one more chuck, an A to E. So that is our intro. All right, again, one of the nuances I want to talk about is whenever he sings this, he doesn't chuck, if you will, or hit the dead strings on the second A. All right, so we're into the verse. Here's how it'll sound. I'll just go through 1/2 measure of it. So you see, we're just hitting A to E. So A to E during the verse or whenever he's singing is always without a chuck. So that's a little key that, again, he does this live, and you can obviously tell he does it on purpose. So next I want to talk about what I'm calling the bridge. All right, in the verse, he'll go through A with the chuck to D, A without the chuck to E 3 times. On the 4th time, I consider this the bridge because it's a little bit different, going A to D to E. All right. So we're going to do this. Okay, that's just the first time through. After the first verse is that bridge. He'll do it again after the, let's see, what is that? Second verse, it's actually a bridge that leads us into the chorus. And then after the 3rd verse, we'll do another bridge like this. So just think of it as every other. All right, so I'm going to go through verse 1 into the bridge, and then I'll break down the bridge for you. So for that bridge, what we're doing our dead string and then our A, Then we're hitting a D chord, and then we're going to hit the first string, holding that D chord, and the second string. So we have this. Then we're going to move that form up to the E chord, all right? Strike it, and then hit the first, second, and third string. And then we lead to an A power chord, but we're going to add the A note on the 6th string, and also our 5th fret that's on the 5th fret, 1st string, and the 5th fret of the 2nd string. What I noticed live, Joe doesn't really pick through the notes. It's more of a... Okay, so we're into verse 2. Now, verse 2, after that bridge, when he hits that A, we're already on an A chord, okay? So, what Joe does to come back into is a dead string hit to an E, then D, then A without the dead strings, and back into it for the next 2.5 times. Alright, so to show you that, so you see exactly what's going on, I'm going to play the bridge and go into it. From the last bridge. So you can see how that E chord takes over next chord because we're already on an A. So that only happens when we come from this first bridge where we're just resting on the A to D, all right? Like one other time in the song. So after the second verse, we're into the, again, I wrote it out all together, bridge chorus, because it really flows together. Once we finish that A chord, we're going to start strumming it and moving up with some inversions up the neck. So we'll go over that and I'll show you that in a second. So what I want to do is lead up to it. So I'm going to do the little bridge part and then just start strumming through the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, so I actually went into the next measure, which was the solo rhythm, and I want to do that so I could show you the difference because he comes in that time from a G to a D instead of the E. Alright, so we'll get to that. So the bridge part, we know the bridge. Now we're just going to start strumming it. So it's down, down, up, 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 down, up. Then we're going to move to an F sharp over D. Alright, it's like playing a D chord, but we're adding the F sharp note. If we were playing a D in the C form, alright, the fifth string would be our root, but we're not using the fifth string. I notice he only uses this little hammer on it. So we're playing a D chord, And we're adding the 4th string on the F sharp at 4. Then we move that up to an E. Then, so what we've done so far, if you look at just the cowboy chords, we've done our A, D, E. Now we're going to go back to D, but we're going to use the 5th root D inversion, all right? I'm only going to play it on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So it'd be like an A over D. Because what I'm going to do from there is lay my ring finger on the 9th fret, 3rd string, 10th fret of the 2nd string for an A, 4th. Then, so after A, we go back to our D. So to make our D different, we're going to, just like we did with our A up here, add our pinky down, but because we're playing D, our pinky will be on the 10th fret. Then a simple E chord. You can just reference it on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Then a D from the 1st through the 4th string, so this D chord. Alright, rather than playing the full bar chord, we're just going to play the 1st through the 4th string. Then he ends on an A with the 5th root at the 12th fret. Then we go into our dead string to G, to D. Now we're in the solo rhythm. So that dead string to G, and then we're going to do dead string A to E. And we'll continue that A, D, A, E, but every A, just like the intro, will have the dead strings. So that's the solo rhythm. Again, the solo rhythm starts with the G. And you'll see how that plays into this slide that he does, because he starts to slide out at G. Then he's doing A to E, and then A to D. And then he's into the solo. Now when I show you the slide solo, you can do this, and Joe does it. I've seen a couple videos where he's playing it just the notes, no slide. So just take my notes and what I do, and rather than sliding into the strings per se, you could do that, but just play them. Anyhow, so you get the idea. Just listen to it, make it your own with your ear, and you'll be able to play that solo part. Okay, so we got the solo rhythm down. Now we're into the verse. This is the 3rd verse, all right? The only difference is we're not hitting our dead strings from A to E. So we're back to the every other. Okay, we'll do that 3 times, and then we're into, let's consider this the 2nd time of the bridge. But you see, when I come out of the bridge, I hit that E chord. And then the rest is A, and so forth. So after the 4th verse, we are to the 2nd chorus with that bridge in front of it. He's going to change up the chords a little bit. So I'm going to go through this with the chords that I'm pretty sure he's playing from watching him live. It's just different inversions. So we'll talk about them and how we go out of the song. All right, so here we are with the A. That takes us out. All right, so the different inversions he does after our F over D, F sharp over D, sorry, to our G sharp over E, we'll just go to a D from the fourth to the second string. Then we'll go to a fourth root A. Then we're gonna, because we got that little jangly sound going, he's gonna do the D, adding on the first and second string at 10. Is just slide that D up and add the 12th fret of the first and second string. So we'll be at the 9th fret on the fourth and third string and 12 on the second and first. Then he goes to a D chord, but we're going to use the fourth root. So we'll be at 12 on the fourth string, 14 on the third string, and then 15 on the second string. That lets us just move that whole thing back to the 7th fret for our A with the fourth root. Then we're gonna, because we got that little jangly sound going, he's gonna do the D, adding on the first and second string at 10. Now we want to turn it back around, so he's just gonna use a plain old fourth root E chord to a fourth root D chord. And then back to the E, or the A, I'm sorry. So again, researching this, that's what I saw Joe did in probably 90% of his videos. It just depended. It's all inversions as long as you're playing A, D to E, back to D, and then repeating. That is the outro. So we'll go over the solo next and you'll have the whole song. Okay, so I got my telly set up for a slide, so I just want to show you the slide lead with this. Let's talk about this. We're coming out of the first chorus, so we're going into the solo rhythm, which starts out with the dead strings and then G, D rather than A, D, and then dead strings A, E, and that repeats, dead strings A, D, dead strings A, E, 3 more times. So what Joe does with the slide to start it out with, he follows the G to D, then the A to E, and then the A to D. All right, so it'll sound like this. Into the solo. So I want to zoom in a little bit so you can see the solo a little closer. The first note you'll hear will be this. And then the rest is, we'll go over that because it's up the neck. But what we're doing is sliding into the 17th fret, all right? We're going to hit the first string at 17, back to the second string at 17, and then the first string twice. Then we'll hit 17 on that second string, slide it down. Then we're going to come back to 15 slid down. Alright, so we have a, but it's not that quick, okay, so we have this. And then we do the rest of the lick, which I'll show you next. So the rest of the lick starts up at the 3rd fret at the 2nd string, slides up to 9, and then catches the 3rd string at 9. Alright, so what we're doing there is sliding from a D note into the E chord. Alright, so all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide that down. Then he goes real quickly to an A. Alright, we're back into the rhythm. A to D. We're going to go back to that 17 just like we began it. Once we hit 17 on the 2nd string, we're going to go up to 19, slide that to 17, and then come to 14 and slide that to 19. Alright, so all together it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we do that just like we did the other lick at the 3rd fret, slide up to 9 and catch the 3rd string at 9. Then he goes real quickly to an A. Alright, we're back into the rhythm. A to D. Now he does that A to D during the first section of it. But it's so quick, you might just want to play the licks. Anyhow, if you want to do it all, I'm going to take it from the whole lead so you can see it played. Alright, I'm going to do the whole solo so you can see how that would be done. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little rough there, but you get the idea. It's just really practicing it and get the timing down. You'll have it, and that's the whole song. So I really hope you guys enjoy. I'm glad I got to redo it because I feel this is a much better lesson. So enjoy.